Interestingly, there's laws about tvua, about wheat. You know, there's 5 species of grain. There's a special bracha that we say after we eat cake. Proper to eating now cake for Reuven ben Eliezer. So the special bracha, it's called, it's not the grace after milk, it's called blessing after certain foods. And what is the certain food? So it's speaking about wheat, barley, rye, oats, or spelt. These are the certain foods.
Ancestral grains.
So yeah, we can call it grain, the grain from the grain family.
But those are the ancestral ones. They're not the modern hybridized ones, some of which we're not even supposed to.
Right. So we're saying L'chaim for
Reuven ben Eliezer.
Reuven ben Eliezer.
Reuven ben Eliezer.
Amen. Okay, Zainas, please.
Just lift him up.
Some mezonot. Mezonot comes before shako.
I wasn't in the mood for a cookie, but okay.
Yeah.
Amen.
Okay, so now there's a prohibition to eat tvua chadosha. It's a new grain from one of these 5 species that I mentioned: wheat, barley, rye, oats, or spelt. And before the bringing of the omer, if we recall, we have after Pesach, as Pesach begins, we start to count the omer. What does it mean to count the omer? We're counting grain. It says there was something called korban ha'omer, the offering of the omer, and this offering of the omer was brought on Tes Zayin. Tes Zayin is the Tetvav. Tetvav is instead of 15. We don't say 15 Yud and Hey because it's the name of God. Tetvav. We said Tes Zayin is 16th day of Nisan. So on the 16th day of Nisan, they used to bring korban, an offering of the omer, which is the new grain. And by bringing this new grain to the Beis HaMikdash as an offering, that permitted the new grain to be consumed. And before the Korban Omer, before the 16th day of Nisan, we're not allowed to eat these 5 species of grain from the new crop, from the new harvest.
Yashan? Is that Yashan?
From the new harvest. No, that's connected to it, but I'm not going to touch it right now. So it says, now that we don't have the Beis HaMikdash, fortunately, and we don't have the option of bringing korbanot, bringing sacrifices, we're not allowed to eat tvua chadosha, new harvest, and we're not allowed to eat this new harvest until the end of the 16th day of Nisan, because the 16th day of Nisan itself, the day itself, is permitting us to eat the new grain, and only then we should eat from it. So this is applicable to farmers in Israel that have harvested new grain in, let's say, in this month. Harvesting now, we're right before Pesach. And they're not allowed to consume it before the 16th day of Nisan. There are opinions that hold that the prohibition, what we call chadash, it's called chadash because it's new. Right? So we're not allowed to use it because it's chadash. First you have to we spoke about yashan, that it's not it doesn't apply to it. That's what
is yashan?
Old. But old doesn't mean that it's old per se. Like I had one time a guest, and he told me, some of these, he wasn't a religious guy, and he said this religious people, not only that they sell something bad, they're not embarrassed to write on the packaging, Kemach Yashan. He was Israeli. Reading, you're giving me something old and spoiled, at least don't write it. Don't say it. You're telling me that it's Yashan. So obviously he didn't know what Yashan means. Over here we know what chadash means. When we know what chadash means, you understand what yashan means. If chadash means test Zion 15th, 16th of Nisan did not pass. Once the 15th of Nisan passed for this harvest, that's yashan. It doesn't mean it's old. Okay? So there are opinions that this prohibition of chadash that the Torah prohibited is also about tvua. Tvua is a crop that grows outside of Eretz Israel. But in actuality, halacha, clearly the halacha is that we are lenient when it comes to harvest outside of Israel.
Why? What's
And
the difference?
the law, because primarily, it's a good question, but primarily the laws of tithing is in Israel, only in Israel. Hashem says when you come to the land, then you should bring. Then the laws of Shemitah, sabbatical year applies. These laws kick in, and the laws of tithing kick in. Only when you come to the land, and not even when they came. They had to wait 7 years to conquer, 7 years to divide the land to different tribes. Once it was conquered and divided, then these laws kicked in.
14 years.
Yeah, 14 years. Buchim Tiu will go to the time.